Guys, just for the start of the podcast, I have to be really quiet because I've got a little baby sleeping behind me.
Aww.
I'll tell you more about that little baby later, but who cares about being quiet? This is my house, and I live here. All right, who's gonna start the show? What do we got? I never prepare for this. I've got nothing. Have you guys got anything? It's pretty obvious we don't prepare for this, isn't it?
No, this is always ad hoc. It's always just talking smack.
Well, anyway, I'll just tell people about the.
Yeah, what little baby sleeping behind you?
Yeah, well, I've got a little puppy doggy sleeping behind me. Her name is Ellie. She's a beautiful little English staffy, and she's a new member of our family. And while she is beautiful and she's asleep right behind me, God, she stinks with those farts in her sleep. I tell you what.
What?
Yeah, sure she does.
So maybe I might be the one coughing and spluttering this week because of dirty fumes coming out of that dog's ass. But anyway, I'll tell you more about her a bit later in the show. But for now, without further ado, let's start the show. This is episode 205, and today is Thursday, the 15th of March, 2018. Is that correct? Did I get that right this week?
It is!
Woo!
Yay!
Welcome to the Aussie Gamers Express video game podcast. I am your host, Lucas, and here with me is my co-host and very good friend, Snoogs. How are you, mate?
I'm good, mate. This comes out Sunday morning, doesn't it?
Comes out Sundays, yeah. Unless you're listening to the premiere, which is on Saturday nights.
On Saturday nights.
Yeah.
That's right. Premiere on Saturday night. I won't be joining the premiere this week.
Okay. Me neither.
Because Saturday night's a very important night.
Actually, I might be this week. Sorry, continue.
Oh, Gretch as well. He'd be aware of what the importance of Saturday night is.
Oh, it's not a
Totally.
It's not a football game, is it?
No.
No, much more
Something
important
far more
than that.
important.
Far more important than that. To everyone listening on Saturday night and anyone listening afterwards, a very happy St. Patrick's Day to you.
Yes.
Oh, is Saturday night St. Pat's night? St. Pat's Day, like Saturday.
Yes, Saturday is St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, so
and,
what do you?
What am I doing for St. Patrick's Day?
Fucking drinking is what he be fucking doing.
Yeah, I reckon so. We'll get that from you in a second. I'll get that from you in a second. We'll finish the intro because we're in the halfway through. Shut up, Snoogs. Also co-hosting this week is the lovely Ramutha. How are you?
Oh, I like the roll on the R there.
Oh, it was terrible. Thank you for being nice about it, though.
I am good. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Choking on dirty fumes, but otherwise fine. Right, last but not least, we've got the man, the legend, the Wonder Boy, Greggio.
Hey, how's it going?
Good.
That was unexpected. I know what you wrote in your notes as my intro. You've edited it and you've taken me back slightly. I'm just like, you know what? Yes, I am all those things.
Yes, I did change that from my notes on the fly. Were you impressed with that?
I was.
Very good.
I have a funny feeling the other one had some connotations that you were going to play on, but you've decided not to.
Exactly. For several reasons that people listening to the show will never know. That's a secret. All right. Well, anyway, before we start, here is this week's show in preview. First up, we'll do video game discussion and some news. And in the news portion, I've got Twitch Prime's free games, Fortnite on mobile, and some PUBG emotes. Whoop-de-doo. Then we're going to do Project What Would You Rather, something you can be interactive with on our Discord channel, and the links to get into the Discord are in the description down below. Then we're going to do What's That Sound, the fan favourites. And then we'll do a new one that Snoogs is bringing to the table. This segment's called Mock the Story. And then the last one, as always, last words. So, without further ado, video game discussion. All right, Snoogs. Right.
Yes.
Saturday night, when most of us will be playing video games and or playing video games, what are you doing on Saturday night? What?
There could be a chance that I'll be playing video games while drinking.
He'll just be drunk while he's doing it.
I'll just be completely and utterly knackered.
Oh, right. Are you Irish?
Well,
on Saturday,
yeah.
I will be, he says.
On Saturday, everyone's Irish. The family is Irish. The family name, I still have relatives that live in County Clare in Southern Ireland. So, yes, and it's the name. So my real name, as we all know, and most of the people hearing will also know, is Patrick. And being that it's St. Pat's Day, well, it's my day, and it's just an excuse for me to get wasted.
Yes, Michael Fitzpatrick and Patrick Fitzmichael.
Mm-hmm.
They fit each other really well.
They fit each other very, very well.
Whereas me, however, I am a good 50% Irish. My dad was born in Ireland, in County Down, which is in Northern Ireland, unlike the southern bastards.
Yes, the dirty bastards down below.
Yeah, so I enjoy it for the heritage and all that jazz. But I still get drunk with Snoogs, and we've been doing that for a long time now. So
yes. We've even destroyed quite a few green Guinnesses together.
Yeah, what is it? Is that just food colouring? Do they just put food colouring in that?
Yeah, totally.
I hope so.
And it's actually it's the green beer. They don't tend to colour Guinness because Guinness is black. So
It takes a lot of colour.
Yeah.
You pretty much got green teeth for 3 months after it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's...
unlike Snoogs' younger brother, who just was green for 3 weeks after it.
Because he tried to keep up. Good luck.
Oh,
hey, buddy.
Dear. Right, well, I would love to join you, except for the fact that my wife has gone away. She's in Brisbane.
Oh, sweet. So we can do it at your place.
She's in Queensland. Well, let me finish. Maybe not. She's in Queensland for the weekend. So I'm in charge of my daughter. I'm in charge of the new dog, the old dog. I'm doing everything, and it's
responsibility.
Just... Yeah, I've got all this responsibility. You know, normally when I've got things that I need to do, like sit on my ass and play video games or do a podcast, normally she's taking care of things, you know. She's getting the kid ready for school and, you know, she's looking after the dog, and she's gone, so I'm doing all of that sort of stuff. That's not fun. So... Yeah, so I got a bit on my plate, which is why, you know, we were going to try and do the podcast last night, but it just overwhelmed with shit to do yesterday. Getting home late and having to get everything organised, and I was nobody's friend yesterday. So the podcast trust me, I did everybody a favour by pulling the pin on that one. And if you know me well enough, I'm pretty sure you're high-fiving me for that.
High five.
High fives all around.
Yeah. Snoogs is like, good decision.
Good call.
Yeah, all right, but no, so I won't be drinking on Saturday night. I'm being all adult and all that sort of garbage. But anyway, we played video games this week. Surely, you can tell us about some of it.
I'll jump in first again. We spoke briefly last week that the new update for Rainbow Six Siege has come out, and I have completely gone blank of what it's called.
Alien
Outbreak.
Alien infusion mode thing.
Yeah. So pretty much what it is something alien crash lands in a certain area. You've got to go in with other members of Rainbow Six and clean it up. So, sounds kind of cool. I haven't actually been able to get on with people that I know, or with people that want to, you know, jump in a chat with you.
I played it a little bit too.
And
you don't like it.
Much more. It could be so much more. I think it'd be a lot better if, you know, we were together. You know, there was 3 people that were on the mic and being tactical about it. the problem that I find is that Rainbow Six is a tactical shooter, and this Outbreak update is just a horde mode.
Well, that's what it is.
Really?
You know what it reminded me of? That Call of Duty mode. What was it called? I don't remember what it was called, but it was the one where all the aliens landed and stuff, and it was...
Kaz was watching me play it the other night, and he said it was very, very similar to something in Black Ops. Even the map was similar.
Yeah. It was... Infestation... No, I don't know, something like that from Call of Duty. I'd Google it, but I'll blow your ears out with my keyboard. So yeah, that being said, I have played a lot of it. Do you like it?
I'm trying to work out the best way to play it.
Yeah, because look, I played it, and although it's not terrible, it wasn't really something that says, come back and play me again and again and again. Yeah,
I've played a lot of it. I've finished a few of the missions, because there's a couple of different varieties you've got to go through, like ones, in certain different areas. But it's really hard to work out a way to describe it, because it's not shit. But don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with it. Everything still works. It looks fantastic. It sounds fantastic. It gives you this weird sensation. But then there's also the flip side where, a lot of things like a assault rifle, which is what I main whenever with every character I play with. I'm usually using a burst or a generic assault rifle. They're pretty much useless.
Yeah, I went the shotty too.
Shotguns all round.
Yeah,
and you literally and then you want to use a shotgun, which is it's a constant thing. So like the SASG-12 or Bucks underbarrel. So you've only got a choice of, for me, I haven't unlocked Buck yet, so I've only got a choice of the two Russian guys, and they get picked first go every time. You've got to be real quick to get on them.
Yeah,
so
I did find that. Yeah, I ended up having to go the bloody just the recruit.
yeah, and then they're using the pump action shotgun. It's not like the 7 or 8 shot sausage. There's lots of little things that are annoying. The way that at the very end they sort of just hoard ridiculously, and because I haven't been able to play with other people talking, it's been hard to sort of try and coordinate our defensive efforts.
Yeah,
and that makes it very hard. But it's a bit of fun. I've spoken to some other people about it, which they're completely and utterly against it. There's a lot of collectibles in it, like there is all through Rainbow Six. There's a lot of different skins, outfits, things like that. But from what people are telling me, you can't actually get them from normal play. You've actually got to buy them. You've got to buy packs and then hope for them. So there's some people say it's a cash grab, some people say it's okay, and then you've got that bit in the middle where it's just sort of meh. That's kind of where I sit. I enjoy it, but I'm not gonna be worried when it leaves.
Yeah, well, look, I think it'll come back. I can't help but think that when they tell us that it's a limited time, it's going to come back. See, the intro they made for it was really highly polished, beautiful intro.
Oh, stunning, yeah.
Would you really go to all that effort for something you're just going to nick off in a month's time? Nah, it's coming back full time. I don't believe it for a second.
Yeah, true. Yeah, that's a good way to think about it.
Yeah. But, look, I played it. Like I said, it's not something I'll be going back to. It didn't blow me away.
Well, you'll have to come for a run with me.
Oh, look, I will. But, yeah, I definitely won't go back on my own. I didn't like it enough for that.
No.
But something I did like, and I have gone back to over and over again, and that's Bridge Constructor Portal. So I've been live streaming that, and that is so much good fun. And you know what I like doing? When I'm live streaming, I get a few people in it, because obviously I'm getting to the levels where they're getting a little bit challenging now, and people in the chat are constantly throwing advice at me. And although I appreciate the advice, I specifically try to do it my way continuously and not take the advice. And when I do that, it's quite interesting. Then the people in the chat are saying, geez, it's amazing to see how many different ways you can do this. Because like, their suggestion very, very, very likely would have worked. But I'm stubborn and I wanted to make my way work. And I did. And it was generally completely different to what they were advising. There was one level where they said, what was it? Do a like a crossover or whatever. But instead of doing that, I just made a new level. I just built all these things and made a new level so the little vehicles could go on top of each other as opposed to jumping over each other. Hard to explain. You won't understand what I'm talking about. But it was amazing. It's just so many different people playing that game, and most people, just about everybody, will have a different solution by building all these different bridge and support structures, making sure the bridge is solid enough to take one of the little forklifts that go past, and then you've got to do the convoy, which is an extra test, which might spit out anywhere from 3 to 10.
And then usually destroys the bridge that's only good for one.
That's right, yeah. So
redesign it again.
That's it. You've got to re-engineer it whereas it might have been fine for one. Yeah, you got to re-look at things and work out how to make sure it can support 3, 4, maybe 5 at a time. And it's so this is why I bought it on PC specifically so I could use the mouse, because although I'll get your opinions because you guys are playing it on console, but I absolutely love playing this game with a mouse. It's just so easy to move bits around, adjust things, delete things, and just everything's really user friendly. What's it like using a controller?
I rage quit the other night.
Oh,
oh really?
Because of the controller, or just the level was hard?
No, the controller.
Oh,
Really?
Yeah. Mind you, it was like 1 a.m, so I should have quit probably an hour before.
Yeah.
See,
Should have left it.
See, I've done it both ways because I play Polybridge and I really enjoy Polybridge, but I play that on my laptop, so I use a mouse and I use it now. Admittedly, using a controller is a little bit more rickety than using a mouse. However, if you zoom in when you're trying to do those fine adjustments, you don't have. When it's zoomed out, I know you go to adjust it, and it will always go the opposite way to the way you want it, and blow out the adjustment. Like you just want to go one notch, and it'll go 3, and you're like, oh fuck, and then you have to go back. But if you zoom right in and into what you're doing, you don't have that problem. You just have to zoom in and out all the time.
I went back to it the next day.
Yeah, that issue is fairly similar to same thing on PC. The only thing, I think it's just a little bit easier.
Yep.
You can probably do things a lot easier zoomed out, but zooming in does make it a lot easier.
Yeah, I haven't had a problem with it per se, and I've played both. So
yeah. I'm loving the trying to do them for as cheap as possible.
Yeah, see,
I've seen some of your designs. I know
yeah, I'm not putting too much emphasis on that.
Money?
Yet.
Money? What's money?
Yeah.
We've got portals to play with. We don't need money.
I'm just blowing the budget. I don't care.
See, I have a completely different take. I go by what Aperture Science would do, and completely for science. This thing, I make it so that it's only good for the forklifts that go over it.
Yeah.
So if it's for the one, I make sure it works for the one and then breaks. And then when I do the convoy, I make sure it's only good until the very last dude goes over it, and it just completely implodes on itself.
Well, that's like extra effort.
If I can achieve that,
Totally.
then I'm like, for science.
I'm extra effort the other way. I'm like all about geometrics and sturdy engineering and making sure that thing is solid as a freaking rock.
That's what
as much as I possibly can.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I don't want any movement. I like it when it's all solid. None of the beams go red. I'm happy.
Yeah.
Over-engineered to the max.
When I play in Polybridge, I've got a completely different agenda. I try and make it structurally solid, but I also try and make the bridge look beautiful.
Okay.
If the bridge doesn't look beautiful and it works, I'm just like, I'm not happy. But Poly Bridge also forces you to work to a budget. So if you blow out your budget, it's like, no, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But you're like spider webs everywhere, freaking spider web joints everywhere.
I love spider web joints.
Can we replace this spider web with like just one or two really big triangles?
You're like, no.
No, we can't. I hate it. I literally cringe every time a spider joint has to be made. I'm just like,
if you've watched any of my streams, you'll tell that I don't care. I will make it so as long as it's structurally sound, I don't care what it looks like, and I don't care what it costs.
You can have 50 billion joints as long as it stays sturdy.
That's exactly right. Radicus is just in the chat there. He's saying it's like a modern Lemmings, and I think that's fairly accurate. I agree with that.
That's pretty accurate. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Let's go. Now I've got a question for you. And I need, well, one of you choose to answer it how you will. The question is, what do you do when life gives you lemons?
What was it? It wasn't make lemonade. It was the other one. It was I throw the lemons back at the world. And
you make life take those lemons back.
That's right. That's what I said.
Exactly. If you've played Portal, you'll understand those lines from Cave Johnson. Very good. Listen, hang on. Here's another one. I've got to ask this question. Out of all three of you, who's played Portal 1 and Portal 2?
Yes.
All of you?
Yep.
Yes.
You all get to come back on Monday.
It wasn't all that long ago that I actually got rid of my copies of Portal.
Those games, I played them fairly late in the piece, but when I finally took the time and had a go at Portal 1, I was addicted.
Oh, it's so good.
It was so good.
So, get this, I actually, and this is an admission from me, but I think the statute of limitations is up because it was that long ago. I downloaded illegally Portal 1 and played it, and I finished it. You know what I did after that? And it's not just as simple as... I didn't simply go and play Portal 2. I went and purchased Portal 1 just because it was that good. I thought, you know what? That game deserves to be paid for. And it was $10. Or it was $5 on sale. But I just felt wrong. I thought, you know what, I need to pay for that game, so I bought
That's
Portal
how
1
good it is. You feel like it. I like Radicus has put in the chat there, Portal VR would be sick.
Yes, it would be sick.
Totally.
Sickening.
Yes, it would be sick.
I would be sick.
Yep.
I reckon it'd be kind of awesome, you know, because you put really close to each other, you put your head through and look at your ass.
Oh, that would be strange.
That would be some trippy shit.
Could you imagine?
Have a camera set up for your rear.
Could you imagine falling though?
Oh,
Because I can always remember there were a few puzzles
Or the
where you
ones-
sort of fall.
You had to build up speed.
Yeah, the ones where you'd actually have to fall multiple times and get super fast and launch yourself.
Yeah, that'd make you sick.
That'd be,
that'd be a
that'd be
vomit
like,
rocket right there.
yes, this is fantastic.
No, thanks.
Yeah, no.
For some reason, I actually spaced, and I didn't realise that Portal 2 is actually backwards compatible now on Xbox One. So I'm going to have to go back and play that again.
Yep.
Yeah, that won't hurt. It's a good game.
Oh, it's so good. So good.
But yeah, keeping in mind though, I think this Bridge Constructor Portal game is probably the closest thing we're ever going to get to Portal 3.
That's a shame.
No, well, there's a news story for you. That's a good segue into a news story.
Yeah, we're getting better with the segues. Well, you guys are anyway.
There was it's actually just reminded me. I didn't prepare for this. Who would have thunk it? There's been some story from Gabe this week that Valve is actually going to start making games again.
No.
Yes, it was a
And if
tweet
they
or something.
do not make a Portal 3, they do not deserve to start making games again.
Yeah, it was like a tweet or something that I saw. I was sort of flicking through it, and I sort of went, "Yeah, right." But it was out there.
Maybe Radicus works for Valve and he's just preempting and trying to start selling.
Well, Radicus has got a boner for Half-Life 3.
But yeah, look, I still haven't finished Half-Life yet. I started playing it on the PS2 and I never finished it. So I've still got Half-Life to play, and I've got Half-Life 2 Chapter 1 and Chapter 2 that I still haven't played. I've got them all there, I just haven't played them yet. Anyway, maybe one day.
Fair enough. Well, speaking of VR, did everyone hear that Oculus Rift died?
It was alive? No. No, I didn't hear anything about it.
I think it was towards the beginning of the week. I think it was the 7th of March. So probably it was this time last week.
Okay.
They had a security certificate run out of currency on their system, and it then, as a knock-on effect, globally knocked out their program, so no one could use their Oculus Rift until the following day at midnight. So it's all fixed now. So obviously those with Oculus Rifts are back doing whatever.
All fixed now because somebody lost their job.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, so for a good day and a half or so, you're unable to use your Oculus.
It's a hell of a paperweight.
Yeah, it certainly is.
Oh, there you
Very
go.
funky glasses for no reason.
Yeah, that you can't see out of.
This is a great game where I'm blind and can't see what I was doing. Kind of like last week.
Yeah, this is like the Helen Keller Express.
I had a thought about that. You know how we were talking about back at What If we were talking about the game where you're blind.
Yes.
I was thinking about it. It'd be really cool, right, if you could play a game similar to that or even exactly like that. But what happens is at the end of the game, you get to watch a cinematic of you playing the game from a third-person angle, and you get to watch all the moments that you missed because you weren't obviously paying attention to the cues or whatever, or story arcs that you could have done.
Or just watch yourself stuff up really badly. Hilarious.
It pretty much creates a movie of the game you just played, and you get to watch and laugh at yourself, like trip over shit or
that would be great.
Balls or miss opportunities.
Sit in a corner and start crying.
Or see how if you were actually cited, a lot of the trouble that you get into, you probably would have avoided because there's a big sign saying "Do not walk into here," and yet you walked into there because you're blind.
Sounds funny in theory.
That actually sounds like a real cool idea.
No, it doesn't. Would you sit there and watch it after you've played?
Yeah,
totally.
Yeah.
How long does it go for?
Well, it'd only be like a short one.
Yeah, it's like you can make it a short game.
Oh,
but
maybe
even then,
a 20-minute game.
It's like playing racing games and watching replays and going, "How did that dude crash?" And you watch back and go, it was actually me cutting him off. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Okay, I was thinking, I'm not really going to sit through a 3-hour game replay.
But yeah, like I thought it'd be.
No, you do it sort of level by level.
It could be a short game that has a lot of story arcs, and you will miss the majority of them for whatever reason. And then there's like obviously the dunking into things and walking into places where you shouldn't, and that's why you got in trouble. Like it could be as simple and dumb as walking into female toilets as opposed to male toilets, or walking into a bar that you weren't belonging to, and that's why you got into a fight and whatever.
See, Radicus in the chat thinks he'd be good to get at a game like this because he plays Call of Duty World War II like he's blind anyway. Me too, buddy. Me too. Hey, did you guys hear about Twitch bringing their free games for Prime?
Yes.
Yeah. So
I thought this was an ongoing thing. I didn't realise it was just starting up.
Well, no, you have previous to this announcement, but it's been sort of like sporadic, like every now and like how they gave away the Fortnite skins and all that. Like they'll give away them. Then sometimes there'll be a free game that comes out. It's been sort of like every now and then. Now it's going to be a monthly thing. and it's starting off today, actually, 15. Well, I guess tomorrow American time, but 15th of March they're kicking off with Devil May Cry is currently available, HD, and the first lot when this kicks off is going to include Super Hot, Oxenfree, Shadow Tactics, Mr. Shifty, and Tales from the Candlekeep. The only thing is, though, the thing is, like, I've seen it that I can grab Devil May Cry HD now, but I haven't grabbed it yet because to redeem it, you have to download Twitch desktop app. So it's not through Steam or anything like that. It's like it's a I don't know. You got to download the app. I've downloaded the app, but I haven't really used it that much. It's a bit strange, but yeah, they're going to start kicking off some cool games. I really want to play that Super Hot game, so I'll probably give it a crack for that.
Do you want to know some fun facts about the app?
Yeah, go ahead.
The app works fantastic on my tablet. I've got a Microsoft Surface tablet.
Yeah.
Works fantastic on there. My PC, fucking delete it.
Why?
Useless.
What does it do?
Just it doesn't load things. It crashes. It's just weird.
Oh, okay.
I've tried to use it a couple of times, and when you compare it to the site,
yeah, the website's fine.
The website's phenomenal compared to it.
Yeah, I really do hope they change their way of delivery for these free games, because I don't like the idea of I've got enough things running on my PC. Like, I mean, I've got a pretty beastie PC now, but I don't like the idea of having. I've got Discord open. I've got my Twitch bot open. I've got. If I'm streaming, I've got Streamlabs open or Elgato. I've got my email app. I've got my voice meter. I've got all this shit running. Like, I don't need more things running in the background. Especially when just a website, just Chrome, Google Chrome. Geez, that's a resource hog. Have you guys noticed that?
Yes, very much so.
God, what the hell is Chrome doing? I think it's fighting off Internet Explorer from going, do you want me to be your primary? No, fuck off. I like how, you guys are fans of Rick and Morty.
Mm-hmm.
You remember the little robot that comes up and says, what is my purpose? And he says, you pass the butter? And he's like, ugh. Have you seen the meme where they've put Internet Explorer logo on top of the robot and it says, what is my purpose? And it just says, you install Chrome.
Yeah.
That's so true, though. Oh, dear. There's great little kicks there. Internet Explorer being rubbish. They don't use Internet Explorer anymore, do they? That's something else now, isn't it?
Microsoft Edge.
Edge, yeah, that's what it is. Yeah. Still don't use it.
No.
What else? Hey, guess what I got today? It was a bit of a surprise. I bid on something on eBay 7 days ago. Completely forgot until I got an email today saying, "Hey, guess what? You won." Well, fuck, what did I win?
Drunken eBay strikes again.
Well, it was kind of drunken eBay, but it was tired drunken eBay because it was probably about 3 o'clock in the morning. I put a bid.
Did you buy some pink neons for your car?
No.
Well, you're still doing better than one person I know. Who will remain nameless right now.
What? Who the... Oh, okay, right, whatever.
That's that little red. Fuck off.
Oh, is that you?
No, they weren't.
Oh, dear. Oh, dear. No, Radicus, it wasn't a rubber girlfriend.
Oh.
So what'd you get? Come on, tell us.
What'd you get?
It was an Xbox One game. I bought myself... Well, I bid $35 for Shadow of War, Middle-earth Shadow of War on Xbox One, and I won it for $32.
Cool.
Is that a bargain? It sounds like a bargain to me.
They gave you a $3 discount?
No, because that was $35 was my highest bid.
Max bid, yeah.
But
okay.
Nobody bid up further than $32, so it only bids up to $32. So yeah, it was a digital code. His explanation was, bought a new Xbox, came with this game, not interested. Okay, no worries. Yeah, so I won it for $32. That sounds cheap to me. I guess it sounded cheap to 3 a.m. me as well.
Well, it's still selling for like twice that in store.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I'm happy with digital. It's nice and easy to move it around and play it on my different consoles. So, yeah, it was great. So I got that downloaded. It's like 51 gig or whatever. So I've got it downloaded on both my consoles. And I don't know, depending on what time we finish up here tonight, I might kick off with a bit of a stream of that tonight.
Yes.
But, I really enjoyed the first one. Really didn't think I would. I did rage a fair bit at the first one, but now I know how the game works. I think I'll be a little bit better going into 2. Because I basically kept dying. Have you guys played the first one?
Yeah.
Where if you die, they come back.
You go to the one that towers.
It makes them level up. Makes the makes the war chief level up. Yep. They come back even stronger. Yep. I just kept dying to the same one, and he just became like super invincible, and it just did my head in. But anyway, got around it and ended up finishing the game. But I'm keen to play the second one. Another bit of news, if you want that. Fortnite coming to mobiles. You guys heard that? This. Yeah, we put that up. I think, I don't know if it was me or someone put it up on the Facebook page. But yeah, it's coming to iOS very soon, and it'll be coming to Android a few months later.
With crossplay across all of them.
Are you serious? I didn't know that bit.
So between Xbox, PC, Mac, and mobile, there'll be crossplay. And guess what Phil Spencer said?
Eat a dick.
Yeah. No, he said, we want PS4, but Sony said no.
Pretty much.
Oh, that's sorry.
The drum again going, come on, PS4, join the gang.
Yeah, I didn't finish my sentence. What I should have said was, eat a dick, Sony. Sony are really hurting themselves here, I think, because slowly they're building all these games that work cross-platform, and Sony's not in any of them. I don't know exactly what their business model is behind the scenes, but if it literally is what everyone seems to think it is because they don't need to, because everybody owns a PlayStation 4, that's going to hurt them come next gen, because I like the idea of being able to play it across all of the different platforms, and I think that is a bit of a selling point.
Yes.
And
no longer do you have to have all your friends on the same device to play with them.
Yeah, and
that's no brainer.
Just this week gone, we played Snoogs and I played a couple of games of Rocket League and Fortnite. I was on PC. Snoogs, I think you were on console. You were on.
I was on console for Rocket League. I was on PC for Fortnite.
On PC for Fortnite. You were on Was that PlayStation?
For Rocket League, yeah.
So Rocket League is cross-platform with PC, but not with Xbox. With Rocket League. So that's a really good feature. And then we did. You were on PC for Fortnite, but then we were playing with
Kazza.
Kazza Kyle was on his console. This is proof that this is a really good feature. These examples PS4 has come to the party with, but you need to it needs to have everything involved, because you can't have Xbox involved in that. And then there's games like Minecraft. Minecraft, from my knowledge of it, you can play with Xbox, iOS, Twitch, PC, all of those together, but not PlayStation. It's a fantastic feature that is the future, and if PlayStation keeps segregating themselves from their enemies, then I think ultimately they're going to hurt themselves, because if everybody else is teaming up against them, I don't know, it looks like it could be a little bit painful. Radicus here is obviously Xbox-minded. Damn Sony knob jockeys, he says. They're becoming the new Apple. Will be to their detriment. Well, I think it might be. They're pretty safe for this generation, but they've got to start again next.
Yeah, I think there's a point to that. I mean, as he says, with Apple, there's definite benefits to exclusivity, but there's also a lot of losses. and weighing that up is what Sony's going to have to do.
Well, what Sony need to start thinking about is that your success in this generation does not guarantee next generation success. And Xbox is 100% an example of that, because they owned with the 360 and then fell flat on their face with the One.
Yeah,
that may
and they've learned from
happen.
that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm pretty confident that Microsoft aren't going to let that happen again. And I can see it happening to Sony, and I really don't want it to. But I can see it happening. I think they're cursed by their own hubris. Do you like that? That's a neat
this
little
conversation was had midway through last generation as well, the exact same one. It's, Sony were doing the cross-play back then, and Xbox or Microsoft said no.
Yeah.
So that's all it is, mate. It's one of those things where they are protecting their brand.
Yeah,
so,
the thing is that
next generation it'll be, completely different again. Whoever comes out on top, they're not going to want to play with the other ones.
Well, here's the thing. If Xbox comes out on top, they have no choice. Because literally Phil has been banging on since the beginning, like with Rocket League, going, oi, get this crossplay thing happening. It's good for everyone.
Yeah.
So for him to come out on top in next gen and turn around and go, no, now we're the top, we're not doing that. It's just going to make him look
He'd be
like
crucified. But
excuse me, if you allow the cross play from Xbox to PlayStation, it doesn't mean that I'm not going to buy the PlayStation. If I think the PlayStation's better, I'm going to go with that. It just means that I don't miss out on playing the game with my friends. Or,
it allows for preferential console platform gaming.
Yep.
That's all.
Yep. And I think it's madness. Obviously, there's probably a lot behind the scenes that we aren't privy to, but at the same time, as a consumer, I'm liking the idea of all of these consoles working together, all of these platforms working together. And if they come out next generation, the new generation, and Microsoft says, hey, guess what? Every single multiplayer game that is multi-platform, so a third-party game, will be cross-platform playable. So with Microsoft, Xbox, with PC, with Nintendo, with iOS, if it has multiplayer and it's on that platform, you can play. But not on PS4. I'm thinking I've got my own mind set on where I'll be focusing. Is that fair? Do you guys agree?
And look, if it's very possible, yes, because if cross-platform play becomes a big issue to the gaming community, then yes, it will be a make or break for them.
Yeah, well, look, it may not be necessarily a make or break, but it's going to be a big part of someone's decision because, if you've got a mate that's on PC and a mate that's on Xbox, are you going to go and buy a PlayStation and not be able to play with either of them? Or are you going to go and get an Xbox and you'll be able to play with both of them?
Exactly.
It's a big decision thing, where the PlayStation 5 or whatever they decide to call it may even be more powerful again than whatever Xbox comes out with. But is the power going to take you, is that going to win over again? Over all of the functionality and all of the different things that Microsoft offers? I don't know. Look, I mean, coming from my point of view, I'm still going to own all of them. But obviously, one of them's got to come first.
I've said this for a long time. Xbox has always fundamentally been about playing with other people. That's kind of been their game model for a long time. Since the beginning since they brought out the Xbox Live network, that's kind of been the thing that they've been banging for the last, I don't know how many, 20 years, whatever.
Just devil's advocate.
And I've always felt, even when I was a PlayStation fanboy, that the PlayStation was more about the singular player.
Yeah.
It was about their experience,
except for the Xbox
the group
One.
experience.
The Xbox One came out; it was more about watching TV with friends.
Yeah, but they were trying a different marketing strategy. The core of Xbox is still
Yeah,
like,
I understand. I understand.
They really didn't change that platform. They just tried to sell it a different way.
Well, the PS3 just wasn't able. It played to its strengths because it couldn't really do the extent of the multiplayer that the Xbox could.
Yep.
Yeah. Well,
but even then, I still don't feel like PlayStation is selling that as the experience they're trying to deliver.
No. I mean, their branding is for the player, and Xbox is always, touting, family friendly and creating, even before going live, Xbox has always touted, games like Halo, where it's always multiplayer and it's trying to get people gaming together. And I don't think that model really changed for them, much as I don't think that the model has changed for PlayStation either. They revel in their exclusivity and single player options, but obviously they have to come to the ball on multiplayer stuff more now. But, crossplay is a big step they're not willing to take at this point.
Yeah, Radicus has a good point there. The crossplay generally won't hurt PlayStation if they've still got these massive, awesome exclusives they do have. And they've got some big stuff coming out that isn't out yet, which will survive well into the next generation. Like games like Days Gone, I can see that being remastered for the PS5. They've got a massive arsenal there of games that will follow on to the next generation, along with sequels to these games. And people are going to need that console for those games because they're console exclusives. So I don't think it would hurt too much. There you go. There's some food for thought there. We'd like to hear some of your comments. Put it into the podcast general. Once you've listened to the podcast, come across to the Discord, put your thoughts and opinions in. We'd love to hear what you've got to say, and we'll strike up a conversation later on with this. What else have you guys been doing this week?
What about the rumour mill?
Rumour mill. What about the rumour
mill? Well, we've had the rumour mill firing up ahead of E3 this week. We've had a few things confirmed.
Yes, tell me.
There's been another big rumour coming out today that I haven't reported on yet, only because it's a bit far-fetched, but I'll talk about it anyway.
Yeah, tell me. So
the big thing is the reveal of the Division 2 that it's currently being worked on.
Okay, yep. That's confirmed, isn't it?
So that one has been confirmed.
Yep.
And also Call of Duty Black Ops 4 has been confirmed for later this year.
Yep.
So that's one big thing. Yes, Radicus, Xbox is touting in something today that come through was that Xbox is touting that this year's E3 presentation will be the biggest that anyone has seen by anybody.
It's going to be. They're going to announce the Xbox One XL.
Yes. so that's two of the big confirms. Now, the rumor mill firing up. The big one that I know you're excited about, Luke, is a potential leak by Amazon in Canada for Splinter Cell 2018.
I want this game to happen more than I wanted The Last of Us 2.
Wow, that's a big one.
As soon as I saw this reveal, I was tempted to send it directly to you, but then I went, nah, we're going to put it on the page and see how long it takes for him to find it.
Yeah, and then I commented on it.
Yeah, and then you've commented on it. So there's been a reveal. Amazon Canada has put a pre-order up on their page, which has since been taken down, and all the pre-order had listed was Splinter Cell 2018. They didn't have any box art, nothing on it. It was just like a placeholder sort of thing for a pre-order.
Yeah,
I was only up there for a matter of time, come via Reddit, and so that was a nice one.
Yeah, man, a current generation Splinter Cell. I seriously have been, I think my words were pining over this game that doesn't exist yet since the release of the current generation console. So since I got the PS4, I was like, where's Splinter Cell? What is going on? Every E3 since, I've been thinking, Ubisoft, whatever you want to call them, They're going to announce it. They're going to announce it. When they announced, not Rainbow Six, when they announced Wildlands, I thought it was going to be Splinter Cell. And then, and I was disappointed. Obviously, I really enjoyed Wildlands. Great game. But I was so disappointed when it wasn't Splinter Cell. I really want another Splinter Cell. I really want Michael Ironside to come back as the voice of Sam as well. And I don't want...
There's a bad part to this story.
It probably won't happen. He won't be in it.
Yeah, so some more information, whether it's just someone that's reading into it a bit more, but the information that I found is that Michael Ironside won't be back because they are making like a full motion capture, and he just doesn't have the ability to do that anymore.
Well, he's an old guy now, isn't he?
Yeah. But I reckon if they can find some way to put his voice in it, whether he does just the face and someone else does all the movement, I'm not sure. But it's looking promising, mate.
Yeah, but look, mate, that won't break the deal for me. I want a Splinter Cell. I wouldn't even mind too much if they replaced Sam Fisher.
Started again.
Sam Fisher has had his go.
You could have old Sam and then have old Michael Ironside, and then everyone would be happy.
But no, I would be happy if there was a new third echelon agent that came through, or even if they focus on what were they called? There was like Archer, and there was like a bird name. The two code names of the two. They were kind of like spy versus spy characters. That's how I felt. In Conviction, and you played them in the little co-op, because in Conviction you played a single player game, but there was also a co-op story mode tacked onto the end, which was pretty cool. And spoiler alert for nobody that's played it and doesn't want the ending spoiled, it was really cool because you played co-op throughout the whole game, and then at the end of the game you find out that your partner has been the bad guy in the end, and then the very last mission becomes a 1v1 and you got to kill each other, and whoever wins gets their cutscene, and that's the end of the co-op story. It was so good. Like, it was just tacked on there, but it was actually pretty damn good. So I wouldn't mind if they made the new game and focused on one of those characters. That would be cool. I love Splinter Cell. Love it. Archer and Kestrel is what it was. Archer and Kestrel.
Nice. The other little rumor that has floated around today is that coming up in E3, our favorite Witcher will be making a return.
What?
Geralt, sorry, is slated to be in a game this year. No idea.
Another Witcher game.
Well, that's where it gets a bit hazy because there's no information about what sort of game it is, what it is, who's doing it, what's going on about it. It's just that it's touted that.
I'll tell you what it'll be.
Mm.
It'll be like one of those All-Stars Battle Royale games.
Yeah, that thought did cross my head. And
you'll be able to play as Geralt and all of those characters, because CD Projekt Red said that was the not that this is always is true, like not that these comments are ever really like adhered to, but they did say CD Projekt Red said that they were finished with Geralt and The Witcher and they weren't making another one. And I would like to think that they would release that Cyberpunk game before they announce another one and steal its thunder.
He's hoping anyway. Kaz has got a nice idea. He's got a Monster Hunter skin. That could work.
Oh, for Geralt in Monster Hunter?
Yeah, in Monster Hunter.
That'll work, all right.
But that look, I can't see it being a full-blown Witcher game while Cyberpunk is coming soon.
No, I think Cyberpunk would have to be the main thing they're focusing on. They're calling for it, like they're calling for a lot of artists and whatnot for Cyberpunk, so they're really starting to ramp it up. So I dare say it'll be something little.
Anything else, guys?
Ghost Recon Wildlands turns 1.
Wasn't it 1 already? Jeez, time's gone slow.
So they've announced they're turning 1, and they're giving you some free loot to say thanks for playing us. It's a T-shirt and a patch. You'll be jumping up and down about that. I know you'll all be jumping down and downloading the game just to get your T-shirt and patch. But I had a look at it today. It's actually kind of cool. I was a bit skeptical. I was like, yeah, T-shirt, patch, who cares? I jumped on today, had a look. It's kind of cool. I have to give them that. It looks cool. But it's not worth re-downloading the game just to grab it. But it's free. It's something. They're celebrating. So if you're still playing, jump on, grab it.
Yeah, for sure. Free stuff. Is that?
That's if it goes recon.
It's a reasonable price.
So Sea of Thieves. More news for Sea of Thieves. They've set a record. They're in the Guinness records.
Oh wow!
Would you believe? So as a promotion, they hired out a stadium, got a cannon, and got the man Dave the Bullet Smith to get in the cannon, and they fired him 200 foot, setting a new Guinness World Record for the farthest human cannonball firing.
Oh, I did see something like that, yeah.
So for those that don't know, 200 feet's about 61 meters.
Wow.
That doesn't sound far.
It doesn't sound far, does it? But when you think it, that's 2/3 of a football field.
Yeah, but do you guys have any idea how those cannons work?
I have a rough idea.
Can you give me your rough idea? Because I can't fathom how that works without killing the person.
I think it's like a air pressure piston
with a platform inside, or
yeah. So it's essentially forcing him out with air pressure. But still, it accelerates him from 0 to 100 k's an hour in a fifth of a second.
So he's not being blown out like a blow dart, is he?
Well, kinda, yeah.
See, I've got this mental image that he'd be standing on like a plunger,
pretty much it.
And the air pressure's behind the plunger.
Yeah, and that was spring him. Okay, I really need to. I need to get in touch with somebody that is a human cannonball and ask them, because it's been bugging me my entire life.
Well, Dave the Bullet Smith.
They stand on a cannonball, okay?
What was that?
Come on. Just play Sea of Thieves, you'll work it out. It's all
good. Oh dear. Yeah. It's 5
PUBG,
days away, mind you.
Some PUBG news.
Yeah, PUBG. Yeah, go.
So they brought out an anti-cheat patch, and then pretty much rolled it back.
Then pulled it back, yeah.
Yeah.
Oops.
They were pretty much forced to undo it when the patch pretty much adversely affected the performance of the game. It started freezing and crashing and carrying on. So Bluehole pretty much said, look, we don't want to punish the non-cheating players. So they've removed the patch until they can fix the issues. So maybe that was the trouble you were having the other week. Maybe not.
Maybe, yeah, I don't know. While you're on PUBG, and I'm getting better at segues, they've also done another patch since they rolled that one back, but this one brings in emotes.
I did see that, because everyone needs to emote these days.
Well, that's what the general consensus is. I don't really
You've got
feel
time
that
for that,
way.
haven't you?
And a lot of these emotes, you're just going to get killed doing them. It's not that kind of game. There's one where there's pointing. Okay, pointing isn't so bad, I guess, if you are playing with somebody without a mic. So you can point in a direction where something might be. There, go get that med pack or whatever. And then there's a waving one saying hi. Okay, that's a bit of a wank. You don't really need that. There's blowing.
Like bang.
Yeah, well, blowing kisses. Who are you blowing kisses to? Really? You're in a battlefield. The game's hard. Pay attention.
The people you just shot. It's for trolls.
This is one thing I find so hysterical. So many people complain about online trolls, yet they're giving you the tools.
Yeah, to be an asshole. But the thing is, if you blow a kiss to the person you've just killed, they're dead. They like the angle that they get once they die is they're not hardly going to be able to see that.
Unless it comes up in the feed down the bottom where it says such and such blows a kiss.
Blows a kiss. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
There's clapping. There's clapping as well, which is more trolly.
The slow clap, like from The Division.
There's laughter. You can laugh, like ha 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 ha, like taking the piss out of somebody. Like that could be infuriating to some people, but and it's probably been a bit over the top. Give these people. But my point is, why I think it's stupid is, like, you should be playing the game. This is an intense game. There's a surrender one, like as in, don't shoot. I don't mind that one because you might be unarmed. You might not have a gun yet. So you may want to try to surrender, saying, "Hey man, I've got no guns," or what have you. And then there's a bunch more, but a lot of them are like bloody stupid. I just blowing a kiss. I don't think PUBG is that game. Fortnite is a stupid muck around game where those stupid emotes suit. I don't think PUBG needs blowing kisses and all that sort of crap. I don't know. Maybe people don't agree with me or whatever, but that's my take on it.
I'm going to suggest that a lot of people banging on saying, we want emotes, and Blue Hole went, here are some emotes.
Yeah, probably.
Whatever happened, just the good old teabag.
Teabag, yeah, just the crouch button. That was
the classics. The classics, they're always...
The classics are always there.
Yeah. But it annoys me because in these games I'm usually really bad at using the emotes because they require too many button presses, right? So I can't do them, and then it burns me even more that somebody just was better than me at the game and killed me, and they can work out how to bloody wave at me now that I'm dead. Fuck you. Stupid game. But anyway, alright, work on the stability of your game. Don't worry about the emotes. Hey, Nino Kuni 2 is coming soon, Revenant Kingdom, and I'm going to be reviewing it. I don't really have much to say now. It's under embargo, and I haven't played it yet. But that's coming soon. There'll be a review soon. As soon as the embargo...
We can say one thing. We can say one thing about it.
What's that?
It's gorgeous.
It does look pretty.
It really is gorgeous.
I can say everything I know about it because I haven't played the game yet. So all I know is stuff that's fair game. So yeah. But yeah, that's coming soon.
Speaking of things that aren't pretty, there's a game that's in development at the moment. Have you guys heard of Carrion?
What
yes.
is that? What's it called?
Yes.
Carrion?
Yes.
Have we spoken about this?
As in, like, I'm going to pick this up, so I'm carrying it over there?
No. Carrion, like, meat.
Yes.
Meat? Is that a meat?
Like raw meat.
Raw, bloody, festering meat.
I don't know this word. I'm Googling. Keep talking. I'm Googling.
So, it's made by a guy called Sebastian, and I apologize if I butcher his last name, but Kruskowitz? Let's go with that.
Sure.
It's classified as a reverse horror, in which you play the bad guy. You're an amorphous alien that has tentacles and teeth, and you pretty much go through and murder everything.
Think of a big slab of red meat with tentacles and teeth. Like that's what you're going for.
That's literally what it looks like. And you literally like grab people and you like grab them by the head and shake them until literally you pull their spine out of their bodies or smash them brutally against objects until they die. I mean, this game is ultra violent, creepy, and unique. It's a 2D 8-bit platformer thing, but don't let the 2D 8-bit thing fool you.
Oh, pixely.
You know exactly. Yeah, you know exactly what's going on.
Oh, from the creators of Butcher, right?
Yes, I was about to say this is the same people that made Butcher.
And you play as that big slab of meat.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, I like
How did you
the look
spell
of
it?
this. Carrion.
Yep. Pat. this is going to be your game. You're going to love this. I'm looking at it going, I think this is going to be fun to play. I know who else is going to be fun to play.
Yeah, this looks amazing. It reminds me of games like Blackthorn.
Carrion, you play as a meat bag. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. I've got a TBA release date. Have you got anything?
No. It's still in alpha. He's still mucking around with it. But considering how good it looks now, I can't wait for it to be finished.
It shouldn't be too long. It does look pretty polished. That was awesome.
Yeah. He's still playing around with some of the I looked up his Twitter feed. He's got a Twitter feed, and he gives up updates to everyone. He's still playing around with some of the physics, and still mucking around with the alien and its abilities. Like it's only just recently gained teeth. But if you jump on, if you just do a Google search, you should be able to find some videos on it. There's a website.
YouTube. Yep, YouTube it.
Yep, YouTube it. It looks really cool. Have a look.
Carrion Game, CARRION game, and you'll find it. The video will come up. And I've just Wikipedia'd the word carrion, and it says here, from Latin caro, meaning meat, is the decaying flesh of a dead animal.
See, there you
go. I've never heard that word before. That's a new word. I've learnt something today. I can stop learning.
Before you push something else out.
Yeah, that's right. One new thing a day. That's the rule, isn't it?
Yep. I'm going to learn how to re-drink on Saturday and forget how to drive.
As long as you don't try to drive. Played a game called Spellsworn. I don't know. It's a free-to-play soon MOBA game sort of thing. Have you heard of Spellsworn?
Yeah.
Did you play it, Snoogs?
Yeah.
Did you like it?
It's a MOBA, isn't it?
It's a MOBA.
Oh, it kind of is, but it's not. When I think of MOBA, it's not like League of Legends or anything like that. What it is...
Yeah, it's not full on. It's one I played a little bit of it, started to get a bit edgy towards it, so I turned it off because we said we're going to catch up and have a go of it together. So that's where it's sitting at the moment. It's just sitting there waiting. Yeah,
well, look, I played it a little bit, and I played it a little bit, and I thought, this game is shit. This is terrible. But then I realised, because I kept playing it, just sort of powering through it a bit and played it a little bit more. It's actually quite good. I actually really don't mind it. Top down, single arena, and there's like 4 players. We've got early access to it, so I think I was just playing bots. And you've got all these different power-ups that you can purchase at the beginning of each round, and you use those as your weapons or your defensive things during the match, and it's really just last man standing wins the round. And you're pointing and clicking where you want to walk to, and then you're pressing the keyboard buttons to select which attack or defense you want to use. It's actually not that bad. I actually really enjoyed it. I don't think it's available yet. I'll have to double check that, but I actually enjoyed it. But look, I can't talk too much about it because I haven't spent too much time with it, but what I did play, hated it, learnt how to play it, kind of enjoyed it. So, not too bad a game. I'll see if I can put a link into if it's up by the time this goes up. But I'll if there's check in the link if you're interested. Sorry, check in the description if you're interested. There might be a link down there for you. But I think that's pretty much all I care to comment on. Have you guys got anything else for this segment?
This week I played Need for Speed Payback.
How'd they go?
And then look, I'm a sucker for car games, as some people know, and I got lost in it. I know Snoogs has played it. I'm not sure you got as lost in it.
No.
So I really enjoy it. It's very arcadey. It's not a sim. It's the car physics are completely whack.
How good is the handbrake?
The handbrake is amazing.
Yeah, they're like an instant anchor that just digs into the ground underneath you.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it is. It's just this big gravity brake that just like plants your car to the ground and stops you. And I actually have worked the best way to race in the game is literally hold the accelerator down the entire way and just tap the brake whenever you need to slide.
Mm-hmm. Sounds like Mario Kart.
Yeah, like it really is. It's just a flashy version of Mario Kart, which is pretty much what Need for Speed has gotten to. The real thing about Need for Speed now is it's very steeped in car culture. And being that I'm a car guy and I like cars, I understand the culture. I enjoy the culture that they put in and infuse into the game. And for people that just are into car games because they just like cars and they're not into the car culture, I get that can be a barrier for them. But as you can see, like I've already started pumping out liveries for cars. You know, if I'm doing that, I'm enjoying the game.
Oh, well, good for car folk, I guess. I'm not in the slightest interested, but not a car guy.
Okay, so there's a kickback game called Defiance. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the original. It was back in 2013. There was a sci-fi game, sci-fi Western mashup, where Earth was terraformed and humans are sharing the planet with a variety of alien species. Since then, there's been a TV show based on it and a few other things, but they're now revamping it. They're sort of tearing down the original game. They're not just building on top of it, and they're calling it Defiance 2050. So this is through Trion World Development Studios. So it's MMO style, and it's coming out to, they're porting it from PS4 and Xbox One, updating the PC version and giving a new higher res paint, implementing new class systems and a whole bunch of other stuff that they're going to announce over the next few months. But what interesting about this game is that it's being touted as the biggest contender against Destiny. So it's sort of trying to steal into that MMO, not so MMO world, I guess. So they got some interesting details on it up at the moment, and a video that they've put up on their website, sort of giving a dev update of where they're up to. So if you're interested, definitely look it up. So Defiance 2050. Also another one. Do you guys remember back? We're talking back PlayStation 1 era. A game called 40 Winks.
No.
No.
No, can't say I'm familiar.
Nothing there.
So this wasn't a game that I played, but I remember one of my, this is going to say how old I am. One of the first gaming magazines that I ever bought came with a central cartoon animation, little boy and little girl who have to go out and fight basically bad guys at night sort of thing. 40 Winks, it did get a release on PlayStation, but it never really made it to any other system. It's now been picked up by a company who does a lot of retro remakes, and they did a Kickstarter recently to try and get it remade as a retro game and bring it forward, playable on Nintendo consoles, I believe, and also as a PC game on Steam. They set themselves like a Kickstarter goal of about 20,000, I think it was, and they've easily beat that. Like there's over 120 grand that's gone toward the project. So if you've heard of 40 Winks, then you should definitely keep an eye out for that, because that probably isn't too far off, to be honest, with that amount of money raised.
Yeah, that'd go through nice and quick.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. And the other one that I thought was interesting, sort of been lurking around for a while, is a game called SCP-3008. It's based on a short story that had the same name, and basically it's an IKEA based game.
I just googled it, and I'm like, why is IKEA coming up?
Right. So it's playing on the whole idea of, you know, how IKEA is amazing. It's so easy to get lost in IKEA. So you're playing in the store of IKEA. They've sort of set it as a horror genre game. They've got creepy staff that walk around. They've got mini settlements. You know how they sort of set up little rooms and displays and things like that. They're all like little settlements. And as a customer, you get lost in the store and you have to try and make it out. So yeah, I thought that was really interesting. They've got some really interesting ideas. So the original story is highly self-aware. So quote, so I'm trapped in an IKEA. It sounds like the setup for a bad joke. But you eventually find other people, some of whom have been stuck there for years, and every night they hide from, quote, the staff, 7-foot-tall disfigured humanoids who attack while slightly repeating that the store is closed over and over. Yeah, so, you know, like, it's not just you alone either. There's, like, all these other trapped customers. So you're all trapped souls that have to try and get out of IKEA. So it's like pretty much every guy's worst nightmare, I think. Getting lost in IKEA.
I'm watching some gameplay of it now. It looks terrible.
It's pretty basic. It's very, very basic. But I like the idea behind it. I kind of like that they've taken that whole idea of getting lost in IKEA and made it into a horror genre game.
Yeah.
I'd like to see it. Yeah, I'd like to see it become a little bit more polished, but it's kind of a cool idea.
Do you want an interesting fact? I've never been to IKEA.
Really?
Yeah, no, I've never been to an IKEA, no.
Oh my goodness. Well, I feel like we need to take you just so you can experience the horror.
Like
that. Well, Pat, you specifically would know me. I very rarely venture out of my own hometown, and there isn't one here.
There's one not far away. If we can
it's close by. We'll take you.
It's not terribly far, but it's not where I live. So I never drive past that incidentally. And if I do drive past it, I'm usually going somewhere of importance. So I'd never really go, I might stop in there and have a look at some furniture.
That's all right. We asked the kids a few weeks ago where they'd like to go for dinner, and both of them said IKEA's. Okay.
Well, there's a restaurant in there, isn't there?
Brilliant.
Swedish meatballs?
There's no. There's like a little takeaway counter at the end where it's like $1 for a hot dog. Brilliant. Kids love them.
How much are the drinks?
$2 will get you a hot dog. $2 will get you a hot dog and a bottomless drink.
That's not bad.
See, Costco's the same.
A bottomless drink? That's useless.
Well, I think we need to do some live streaming and get Lucas into IKEA.
Oh, an IRL.
And then
maybe you should
run off
the
and
game.
get him lost in it.
Maybe we should remake the game, get him lost in there, and then we'll act like the 7-foot-tall staff and not let him out.
Pop out of the halfway doors, all those shortcuts that we know.
Yeah, we know the shortcuts.
We
he
know
doesn't.
The shortcuts.
Snoogs isn't far off the 7 foot. He can be scary, but we'll make a day of it one day. That should be exciting. What are you doing this weekend? I'm going to IKEA. What are you doing? St. Patrick's Day, getting pissed. Right. Anyway, sounds exciting. Anything else?
That's it from me.
All right. Snoogs?
No, all good from me. From my
French?
end.
Unless you want to talk about us playing Destiny 2.
Not really.
All right.
Well then.
What did we achieve? Nothing.
We did a couple of levels.
3 levels, didn't we?
Actually, I went and played that a little bit more afterwards the next day or whenever it was, and I was getting 1 level per match of Crucible.
Okay.
So I went up probably, another 4 levels that day. I just gave it a quick go. But no, look, it was nothing really exciting. I mean, it was good to play games and that stuff, but I really don't enjoy the PvP in that game anymore. PvE in that game anymore. I really don't mind going into Crucible under leveled or whatever. I don't care. I don't use the specials, the supers, I don't use much of the the abilities, and they will all slowly unlock anyway from playing Crucible. So I don't even think I'll bother leveling up my character through the storyline. I'll just play Crucible, I think.
They don't unlock. You've got to play the storyline to unlock them.
Yeah, they unlock with your levels, don't they?
Nope. Even if they do, you still have to unlock it with a storyline quest.
I'm not talking about the supers. I'm talking about all the abilities.
Subclasses.
No, the abilities. The abilities within the subclass that you start with.
So the one subclass you have,
yes,
they will unlock.
Yeah, that's what I'm referring to.
Yeah, right.
I know you don't get the other subclasses. You have to actually play the story for that. Yeah, well aware of that.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, I think I was really tired that night, so I didn't even think I was on very long.
Not really.
No. All right. Well, how about we move on to the next segment, which is Project What Would You Rather? We still don't have a better name for that, do we?
I'm actually. This one's growing on me. I'm happy. I like your added project part at the beginning. Makes it sound official.
All right, so we're keeping Project What Would You Rather?
Yeah, until something better comes along, but I like it.
Okay, sounds good. All right, we'll take it away.
As we've already discussed, Project What Would You Rather is just pitting two concepts together, and us and you guys picking and telling us why you like one concept over another. So this week's concept is games with mediocre gameplay with a compelling story versus games with a mediocre story with compelling gameplay. What do you rather?
Right.
So
was that little Mexican girl? Why not have both?
That's what I said.
Sometimes we do, and you end up with really good games. Sometimes you end up with both mediocre and you end up with really bad games. But mixy. So in my mind, you have games that, and what I classify as mediocre gameplay could be like Firewatch. There's a game that has a compelling story, but the gameplay is pretty mediocre. It's a walker.
Yeah, pretty non-existent gameplay, really.
It's non-existent. You literally put forward, you walk, you may pick something up. It tells the story, right? You know. But then you have things that and some people would disagree with me, but you've got things like Destiny, where the gameplay was really good, polished, but the story was almost non-existent.
Completely agree with you there.
Right? Or at least, within the game, it was non-existent.
Yeah.
So, what would you rather? Lucas.
All right. Now, look, it's very easy to be a fence sitter here and say, I'm easy either way. If I've got one out of those two, I'm happy.
Yep.
Okay, so as long as if I will play a game that has mediocre gameplay, as long as the story is good, but I'll also play a game with a mediocre story, as long as the gameplay is fun. But I think if I had to knuckle down and choose one, I'm a sucker for a good story. I think if I had to choose one over the other, I would say I want the good story every time. Yeah, I think that's the route that I would go, because it's hard, but that's my decision. Yeah, it's really hard to justify, because then there's things like you said with Destiny. Destiny was really fun to play, But essentially for me and for a lot of people, it didn't have a story. It was a mess, the story. It was rubbish with all the grimoire and all that sort of stuff. I didn't know who was who. I can't actually tell you what happened in Destiny 1. You know?
But did you care?
No, I didn't. No, I
Fair.
played that more than any... Excuse me. Oh, I am catching it now. That's just me choking on my own spit. I played that a lot more than a lot of games that have a better story, you know, but that was because the gameplay was so great.
Yes.
You know, those are two very high-regarded portions of a game, you know, the story and the gameplay. But I think, if it came down to it and I had to choose a game, it would be based on the story. That would be my preference.
Yep. Whereas, for me, the reason I choose it, and Destiny is my example, I played Destiny for 3 years. Now, 3 years solid. Like, just about every weekend I was playing Destiny and was playing with my friends, doing the raids a million times over, playing Crucible, doing all the weekly challenges, smashing it out every week. That's not because the story was good. It was because I enjoyed playing the game. It was the gameplay that kept me there. And that's why I choose the opposite. I say compelling gameplay is what keeps me happy. So,
Eureticus brings up a point in the chat that gameplay is what keeps you playing. But I guess it also opens up further avenues where it depends on the game. Like, if it's a multiplayer game, you probably want the gameplay to be the key there. Because the story doesn't really matter. But for me, I always prefer a narrative-style game to multiplayer stuff. So that's why that's more important to me. I feel like I'm justifying my decision here, but it does depend on the game. Like, you know, if it was a Destiny game, if I had to choose whether they put more effort into story or more effort into gameplay, I would always say more effort into gameplay, please. Because that kind of game, it doesn't really need a compelling story if you're playing with your mates. But a game like The Last of Us or God of War, I would want... That's probably a bad example, God of War. I would want the story. I would want the story to be really engaging. You know, it wouldn't necessarily need to be top-notch gameplay.
Yep. So, Rem?
I think I'm going to have to go with Lucas on that. I think, while it does depend on the game, overall, I would probably choose the story. Because I put up with some pretty terrible gameplay in games for the sake of really enjoying the world or the story that I'm experiencing.
Yep.
And, you know, I'm so attached to narrative-rich games. Whereas a game that has great controls, great gameplay, but nothing to actually keep me wanting to play it, no interest base, for me just gets repetitive, and I think I lose interest far quickly if there's no real story there, if there's no real content. Yeah, I need a reason to play a game, and that's why I pick the games that I pick when I'm playing for myself. It's all about story. It's all about keeping me engaged within the game and making me have an experience or a connection with the character that I'm playing. So yeah, for me, it's got to be the story.
Fair enough. Snoogs?
This is a hard one for me.
It's not easy.
No, it's not.
This is exceptionally hard because as soon as I read this question earlier when I was looking over the notes, my first point was drawn straight to single player experience. And that's when we're talking single player experience, it is all about the story. It's all about how engrossing it is and how much it you get pulled into it. But then, you know, listening to you guys talking and, you know, in 3 weeks, I've put like 45, 50 hours into Fortnite.
And Sea of Thieves.
And Sea of Thieves. And that's all just been, that's all just been, you know, playing with friends, or it's all gameplay.
Yeah.
So I think, though, at its core, like you said, Luke, if you had to define it and pick one, for me it is story. I've originally, in the headspace that I was in at the time, with The Last of Us. The Last of Us never did it for me. It never grabbed me. The story didn't do it. It just was not there. The gameplay is tight on that game, and it still wasn't enough for me to keep going through it. It wasn't until I've come back a couple of years later, mindset's changed, a bit more open to what I wanted to do and what I was playing, and I played it from start to finish without touching anything else. And that was all because of the story. So I think that's where it comes into it. It's for me, it is story based, and if I'm going to play a game that has hours sitting by yourself, it's got to be a compelling story. A compelling story can get me through those little glitches and problems that you have. But then when you're playing with mates, that's when it's got to be good gameplay then.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, as a wrap up, I'll solidify my argument, and then we can put it to the people.
I'm not arguing. I'm explaining why you're wrong. Yeah, okay.
No, I'm not. No, you've all made it valid. But I'll better justify my position. Let's take. I played the original Assassin's Creed. That has a compelling story. I could not finish that game because the gameplay was terrible.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it was terrible.
I never actually finished the game because I was just like, I can't play this. It's junk.
But I watched you playing it, and I couldn't even. I didn't even pick the damn thing up.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
persevered with that one.
And things like Destiny, Fortnite, good gameplay. And yeah, you're right. It's about gameplay because it's multiplayer, but the good gameplay allows in multiplayer to create stories.
Mm-hmm.
The reason I played Destiny for 3 years was not because of the compelling story that was created by Bungie. It was the compelling stories that I created with my friends. And the stupid things that happen in raids. Like, I still catch up with those guys, and we still talk about dumb stuff that happened in Year 1 of Destiny, because we find it was such a compelling story in our gameplay, our playthrough of the game. Having said that, I can't tell you how many times I actually played the campaign of Destiny, regardless of how bollocks the story was. Yeah, it did. I destroyed characters and started again a couple of times without any issue. So for me, that's why I find the gameplay better. And Radicus also agreed. He goes, Mafia 3 had awesome story, but samey gameplay, so he never finished it. It wasn't enough. As good as the story was, the gameplay ruined it for him.
Yeah, it wasn't the story wasn't worth the pain of the gameplay. I understand.
Yes,
yeah.
And to be fair, you could throw the argument. There's arguments for gameplay being wonderful, but the story's so trash you just can't deal with it.
Yeah.
But I find that if it's fun to play, even if the story's trash, you'll still play it.
Yeah.
As an example, another example of that is Brink. That was a terrible. Like that, you say Destiny doesn't have a story. That game has even less story than Destiny.
You played Brink?
I played Brink. I played Brink. I have a copy of Brink.
Did you buy it for like $5?
Oh yeah, I got it secondhand. I'm
surprised that wasn't too expensive for you. I can't believe I have never played it. The reviews were so bad on that I didn't bother.
But yeah, like if you're playing with a bunch of people, Brink, the gameplay was really good.
I can't even tell you what type of game it was. What was it?
It was kind of the first attempt to create a storyline out of multiplayer games, like rounds, kind of like Titanfall.
Like Titanfall, I was going to say that, yeah.
Titanfall did a lot better, mainly because there was a lot more people playing it. But the good thing about Brink was, even if you were playing by yourself offline, it would just fill the game with bots, so you could at least play through the story and play through the multiplayer. And it was literally just arenas, and you played one side versus the other, and there might have been an objective round, like capture the flag or bomb armament or whatever. But you literally just played these team-based matches. And they based the story around it, and it had like 3 classes you could choose from, like the heavy tank through to the light, agile sort of dude kind of thing. It was very basic, but the gameplay was still fun. So anyway, so having said that, we can now put it to the people. I guess we've had our say.
Yep.
Let them have their say. Tell us why. Tell us the games that have made or break you on gameplay and story. Why you've made your decision. Just like we have. We want to hear about it.
That's it. In Discord, there's a link in the description of the podcast, and chuck it in the Discord there. Project WWYR.
Cool. And that's this week's Project What Would You Rather.
Beautiful. Thanks for that one. That was a good thought-provoking one. Very hard to decide. All right, let's move into this week's What's That Sound? Right, so last week was a relative disaster with me giving you guys the answer in the show notes.
I listened back to it. It was hysterical.
That was great.
All right, well, this was last week's What's That Sound? Did anyone know what this was? Did you guys hear that this time?
No.
Not at all. Was it cutting out, or you just didn't hear it at all?
Just didn't hear it at all.
Didn't hear anything.
Heard nothing.
Oh, okay. I've got a problem. Right, now, can anyone hear this one?
Yay!
Yes.
Yay!
Hey.
I think I fixed it. No, it's not Del Kazakyle. God. He knows. I know he knows the answer. He's just being a troll. No, that was last week's sound. It was actually the Intel Inside commercial ad thingy-majiggy. So that was last week's. This week's is... Whoa, hey, stop! I didn't ask you to play yet.
Next week, no bugs, we promise.
No, it's going to be just as...
No, we don't.
Just as much of a...
No, not even promising.
I've only played it for like half a second, and Kazza knows it already. Yes, Kazza, yes, you can answer it in the podcast live chat because it's private to only you guys. You guys, with what I've played, do you know what it is?
Yes.
Yeah, we all know.
Yeah.
All right, hold on. We'll play it properly. Here is this week's What's That Sound? It's an easy one. There you go. That's this week's What's That Sound? Let's give the guys, let's give Radicus a bit of a chance. If you think you know what it is, anyone at home, if you think you know what this week's What's That Sound is, make sure you send it to us in a private message to our Facebook page. And if you're correct, you might win yourself a free game. Nobody's bothering with the What's That Sound anymore. I think I might. Fine. Just play again. I pumped the mouse button.
Radicus said it sounded like the porno he watched last night.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's your porno. That's what I've tapped into your computer and I'm watching your pornos.
Don't lie. You're at his window.
I'm licking his windows.
With the boombox playing it above your head.
Radicus!
I think Radicus doesn't know what it is, but you'll find out next week. Here it is again. Right, shut up. Rightio, that's the end of What's That Sound for this week. Let's move on to the new segment called Mock the Story. Rightio, Snoogs. Oh, man, look, I've had to find new music intro things for so many segments this year, and you're adding more work to my load. I like
some
it.
Some of them are really good, I have to admit. I like the gaming
cool.
disorder one. That one's really good.
I don't even remember what they are. There's that many of them now. Where is it? Let's play it so I can...
That's the one when it doesn't cut out.
Yeah, no, when you listen to it properly. No, that's the gaming disorder one. Well, I don't have one for Mock the Story yet, but by the time the podcast comes out, it'll have one at the start somehow.
Nice.
Magic. Snoogs, what is Mock the Story? What are we doing?
Okay, so Mock the Story is, being honest, I pinched this idea off some other people because it's always fun. It always makes me laugh when they do it, so I thought we'd have a bit of fun with it as well. So pretty much Mock the Story is when there's a story that comes out in the gaming world during the week, we're just going to take the piss. Really? That's probably the easiest way to put it. It's just about having a bit of fun. Not trying to be too political or anything like that. It's just about having the fun with the story and letting our minds run a little bit with it.
All right. Well, let's kick it off, eh?
So this week, the past week, after a very tragic event in the US, the President Trump has come out and blamed violence on video games.
Like everybody else in the political world.
That's the easy go-to. Earlier this week, he has met with gaming officials from all different walks of life, and they've discussed, violence in video games and their effect on the youth. Now, this was all taken into account, the violence itself and the guns being the main part of it as well. So, the big question is, what was actually discussed in these talks?
I know.
What's that?
He literally addressed everyone and said, is there a way we could do a console for gun swap scheme?
Oh, I'm in. I'm sold.
We'll just rid the problem. Take all the consoles away and give everyone guns. That'll help.
That'll fix the problem for sure.
Oh, wow. Oh, dear. Well, I heard that Trump, during the meeting, he was saying that banning the automatic firearms is not the answer to these mass shootings. He's further explained that the issue lies within banning gun use in video games, because it's these games that are teaching our youths how to rapidly reload and switch weapons by just pressing X and triangle. That's the problem. All they need to do is press those buttons and boom, they're ready to go again with a full magazine. I don't know.
It's too accessible to the 3-year-olds, it's terrible.
Yeah, well, that's what Trump thinks anyway.
So, first thing that happened, as soon as those doors shut to become a closed-door meeting. All right, now the press is gone. Who's going to fire up COD?
You know it. Projector screen comes down.
I believe the NRA addressed the assembly and said that the big problem with the new Big Game Hunter is that it goes against the Second Amendment. There are no automatic weapons to choose from.
Rockstar! I want you to take all the guns out of GTA 5. No. Keep the drugs, the boobs, and the golf. The good, wholesome stuff.
The stuff that he does himself.
On that point, he also discussed that he wanted more riot squads, assault weapons, and armoured vehicles for the police to protect the hard-working people who elected him in the city of Los Santos.
Well, I've got to agree with his point of view here, but he was saying as well that there are video games out there that promote just deplorable behaviours that include but aren't limited to things like the dab, the floss. What the fuck is the floss? And for our youths using words like lit and rip and other kinds of cantankerous actions that are spread around by youths like a virus through media and video games. This kind of stuff needs to be banned. I'm looking at you, Fortnite. That shit needs to go. I agree with Trump on that. I agree.
I'm going to say, this is one of the few times I might actually agree with Trump.
Yeah, same. Yeah, dabbing and flossing. Oh, God. Also, and you look at our own, it's even spreading across into Australian soil here with people like Kazakyle.
He's going to need to be extradited.
Yes.
Hey, Kaza, just a word of advice. You need to go to England and find a guy called Julian Assange. He'll tell you how to get out of the problem.
Oh, dear. He's been on bar for a very long time, hasn't he?
Reports that state senators actually used this to discuss and highlight how gaming was distracting today's youth from important issues, in which Donald Trump's response was, "Sorry, what was that? I was tweeting."
Oh, dear. Slightly off topic, but with Trump, did you know if you're on your PC, you can download one of those attachment things for Chrome that will turn every Trump tweet into like a child's handwriting?
Oh, that sounds amazing.
Instead of Make America Great Again, it's called Make Trump 8 Again. So all of his tweets. So you'll be looking at your Twitter stream on your PC. Everything is just normal, except if there's a tweet from Trump, it'll be like in crayon.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Just the way it was intended to be. Oh.
I saw a tweet from Trump today, and I don't know whether I should share it or not.
Oh, was it the? Well, this will be beeped out. But did it have something to do with Nukem?
Yes, it did.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Oh. I thought that was.
Tell me that dude isn't playing video games.
Dude, that was photoshopped for sure.
Surely it had to.
Surely.
But then again, coming from Trump, you never really know.
Never quite know. Well, I heard he did ask for an update on a game.
Okay.
Polywar Constructor 2018.
Polywar.
Oh, lovely.
There's no portals in that one, I can tell you.
They're only one-sided. It helps support the Mexicans.
Yeah.
That reminds me of that joke with the tweet that came out saying, I love this Fortnite game. Never played it before, but you can build walls, so I love it.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, dear. Oh, Trump. He is just... Oh, an abomination.
It's a class act.
Oh, he kills it. Some of those tweets that are actually legit really twist my mind. Like, what is going on? Kazakal's just put the thing in the tweet in the Discord saying, I play Fortnite just to build walls. I have no clue what the fuck Fortnite is, but you can build massive walls, so I love it. Oh, so funny. Oh, God.
Yeah, so, anyone else got some more?
Have we got any more? That's all I heard, man.
Yeah, no, I couldn't think of any more.
The rest of it was classified. We didn't get any more.
Yeah, we left it.
Yeah. Anyway.
So there you go. If anyone's got some, chuck them in the Discord.
That's it.
For sure.
We'll have to make up we don't have a channel for that one, but we'll make up one before this goes live, and you can add your mock the story comments.
Yeah.
Lovely. All right, well, that's the end of that one, and Snoogs, you did a really good job with that one. That was funnier than than hell, man. All right, let's move into last words. All right, who's got some last words? I'm not going to kill you. It's just the podcast is finishing. Well, during the podcast, my dog basically stayed asleep the entire time. Her name is Ellie, and she's just woken up in the last segment, and she started chewing everything. So if I sounded a bit distant a couple of times then, it's because I'd rolled my chair away and I was smacking her in the ass with a chew toy, saying, "Chew this!" She started chewing my Marvel Dad, You Are My Superhero book. She's chewed that. She's chewed up the bag full of all the screws from my motherboard that I haven't put away yet. And then she started chewing a package that I got from which has some Bluetooth speakers in it that I need to review. So I got to her in time, though. She hasn't damaged that. I was like, "Jeez, I can't really have her damage that because I don't own that. That's on loan, that thing to review."
I'm sorry, I can't do the review. Why not? My dog ate it.
Yeah.
Review is going to be testing something you weren't expecting.
Yeah. Well, my dog test. Fantastic speakers, shitty chew toy. And now she's chewing on, I think she's chewing on, she might get sick. Hang on. Stop eating that. Yeah, she's chewing a bag of screws and...
Chocolate?
No, it's screws and nuts and stuff. No, that's not not from the motherboard. That's for a, there's like thumbtacks.
I should only chew it once.
Yeah.
Part of any stable dog diet.
She never got through the bag, though, so she's all right. She was close, though. Bloody dog. Anyway, she's awake now. She's chewing my Ford plush toy that I've got there, but that's all right. She can chew that. Ford's a shit now, anyway. Did anyone have a look at Uncle Chunt's...
Freaking hell, Kaz.
Kazagos put me off.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, God.
Has anyone checked out Uncle Chunt's Tomb Raider review? Uncle Chunt went and watched a special screening for reviews, and he's put up a review on his channel. I recommend go and check it out to get an idea on whether it's a decent video game movie or video game movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, yeah. I'm keen to watch this. I'm keen. Very keen.
Yeah, well, it's out very soon. We should organise maybe next week.
It's out today.
16th, wasn't it? Or was it out?
Yeah,
oh, no,
today.
No, it's the 15th today, but it's usually out on Thursdays, isn't it?
Yeah.
So today. I thought it was the 16th, which is tomorrow, but they don't come out on Fridays, do they?
No, not usually.
No, it's usually Thursdays.
Well, if we can, if you guys are keen, maybe we can organise next week. We'll go and check it out.
Yep.
Any last words from you guys?
I just wanted to mention two things.
Sure.
So one was, jumping in Sea of Thieves final beta this week was really good. It was great to see all the new things that they've started introducing. They've got a bit more variety on missions now. A bit of fun with chickens and pigs.
Chicken.
Oh, my goodness. I'm just glad I didn't, it took me forever to get 2 chickens back on my own. All right.
I'm sorry. My dog is well awake now. Oh my God! You dirty little shit. I'm sorry. You didn't shit, did you? No, that was a... Sorry, Rem. Sorry, that was a dirty fart. Oh. Sorry, keep going. The chickens, you spent ages... Oh.
Maybe you want to wait till he calms down and start it again.
Sorry, go.
Oh, dear. No. But yes, you haven't tried the pigs yet. Didn't manage to get any pigs. But apparently they're very high maintenance. They're you got to feed them bananas constantly until you get them back. So otherwise they die, I guess. But yeah, during that had some fun times playing with. Well, Snoogs, you and I jumped in together, and then we had Officer Ling, and then
Ling Ling.
Yeah, it was really good. I was actually up until about 2 a.m. playing that.
Yeah, we had a mate jump in. A mate that I actually met at Xbox Fan Fest.
Yes, he was good quality. He was good quality. Plenty of discussion. He was good for that.
Yeah, so it's been pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, that was good. And the other one I got to play with was Stick. We jumped into PUBG, so I have had my first foray.
Exposed.
I have, and it was unfortunately really awful for me. I was rubber banding everywhere. Like my character would take about 5 steps, and then I get flung back and have to do the same thing over and over.
Welcome to PUBG.
And over and over. Oh my goodness, it was horrible.
It's worse on console.
Yeah, I was wondering whether it was because we sort of theorized maybe it was because I'm on OG Xbox, not an S or an X. But you know, there've been plenty of other people who've been playing on the original that haven't had the same issue. So
no, I have those issues all the time.
You do? Okay.
Yeah. That's why, to be honest with you, it's the reason I don't play it anymore.
Yeah, I found, for me, unfortunately, 1, it was exhausting and frustrating, but 2, my motion sickness, just not tolerating it. So, but you know, we got to the end, and it was just 2 of us, and I think we got to. I'm trying to think. Goodness, we did pretty well. We got in the top 10, so it wasn't too bad.
Yeah, good stuff. Yeah, I don't really play it on console anymore. If I'm gonna play PUBG, it'll be on PC. Fortnite's much better.
Why. Yeah, I can definitely appreciate why you would, because you do need a decent to run it well. And this is following on from what you said last week about it as well. And I sort of went, yeah, I see what you mean. It just doesn't quite hold up on this, but it's, you know, I see why it's a very liked game. So yeah, that was fun.
All right, any more last words? That was your 2 things, wasn't it, Rem?
Yep.
Greg?
Finish him.
What?
You just want some last words, and that's the last words in Mortal Kombat. Finish him.
Finish him.
Fair enough. Oh, the dog's farted again. Let's finish up. I'm gonna take her out so she can do a shit. I think that's what she's doing. She's farting, going, you know, I'm gonna in a few more minutes I'm gonna shit on your lounge.
A few more minutes, it's not just wind.
Yeah, that's right. There's something coming. There's a barracuda on its way.
I'm gonna follow through.
Oh, this is dirty. All right. Thank you very much to everybody that's listening to the podcast. As usual, if you're listening to this portion of the show, then you must have enjoyed it. We thank you very much for sticking around this long. Also, thank you very much to Kazakal and Radicus. Was anybody else in the live chat with us? Is it?
I think Cliche jumped in.
Cliche was there for a short time, wasn't he? Yes, he was. Yeah. Thanks, Cliche. Thanks for jumping in, mate. If you're wondering how to get onto listening to the show as we're recording it, jump on our Discord and have a chat to us there, and it'll become fairly obvious how that happens. And you may be able to get some access to it by becoming an agent of age. Just jump on the Discord and it'll all be self-explanatory. So, thanks a lot to everybody. That's all we've got for this week's show. Thanks again to Rem. Greg, I know you've had a hell of a day. You came along anyway. You're a soldier. We appreciate that. And Snoogs as well. Thank you very much for that awesome new segment. You brought the goods.
Yeah, it was good.
All right. And thank you very much to Ellie for being a dirty, disgusting, farting machine. But she was asleep for most of it, so that was good. All right. Yes, yibbity yibbita. That's all, folks. I guess there's nothing else to say other than until next time, I've been Lucas.
I've been Remuxa.
I've been Grigio.
And I have been Snoogs. Thanks a lot, everyone.
Gotcha.
Bye.
Sure.
Well, here we are once again at the end of this week's show. If you're still hungry for more video game content, then head over to the Aussie Gamers Express Facebook page and give us a like. We also have a heavy presence over on Twitter and YouTube, and their links are waiting for you in the podcast description. This podcast is available for your convenience through Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, and more. Thanks again for listening. Catch you all on the next episode of the Aussie Gamers Express Video Game Podcast.